against Kentucky? And then I'll go back, Ravi. How did Ole Miss and Texas A&M take Kentucky into overtime?
Yeah, that's two-part. I think a lot of teams can still be competitive with us. I mean, their team, just Notre Dame team we got coming up on Saturday is really, really good. They can stretch us out. They can play a lot of different, make a lot of different shots, have a lot of different shot makers, and I think that is something that's important in beating us. So yes, they can play. And Wisconsin, they're solid. If we match up with them in the Final Four, they'll be a team that we'll have to battle with and probably go down to the end of the wire with. So yeah, teams can definitely compete with us. But getting back to Ole Miss and Texas A&M taking us into overtime, you know, it just happens. It was earlier in the season. Guys hadn't defined their roles yet. They didn't really understand exactly what they needed to do yet. But as the season progressed and as it got on, the team got closer, and everybody's really defining their roles. Everybody knows exactly what they need to do whenever they step on the basketball court. And I think you're seeing the growth of this team and the progress and just what Coach Cal's been able to do with these guys.
Talk a little bit about this journey for Kentucky fans from a fan perspective. Obviously, there's always going to be a very high level of expectation, but this exceeds even that. And whether you're Kentucky basketball or Alabama football, have fans enjoyed this ride, or has it been more nerve-wracking trying to get to that elusive 40?
No, I think we've actually enjoyed it. There are some crazy ones that you know are on pins and needles right now, but I think I'm a fan with some perspective. I played there, so I know a little bit about what's going on, and I've just enjoyed it. It's a journey, and what fans in Kentucky often forget about is it is a journey, and you have to, you know, take those games, take those Ole Miss games where you go into overtime, and Texas A&M and the close games down in Florida. You know, you have to appreciate those because those are the games that, you know, built this team to where they are right now. Those are the games that made you tough. So in retrospect, I really think the guys and people across the state have enjoyed this run, and they're just ready to keep it going and don't want it to end.
Ravi, how do you beat Kentucky?
37 teams have tried, and nobody's figured it out yet. So I'm not a genius. I don't know. I think honestly the team that has the best chance, and I'm not even joking, is Notre Dame, just because of the way they play. They can stretch it out. Connaughton can play and bury a lot of shots. Jerry Grant is really, really good. But they have enough three-point makers and can stretch us out and keep our bigs away from the basket, and I think that's kind of what you have to do. Wisconsin's really, really good, like I said earlier. They have a shot. I don't think Frank Kaminsky will be as effective against us as he was, you know, against UNC and passing, just because guys like Willie and Marcus Lee are quick enough to guard him and can stay with him a little bit better than Kennedy Meeks could last night. So I think Notre Dame probably poses the most threat as far as matchups. On the other side of the bracket, if Duke comes out and Gonzaga, I think we match up really, really well with those teams. I think Michigan State will probably come up out of the other top region up there, and I think we match up well with them too. So I really think that Notre Dame leaves us with the biggest matchup problem that we'll have for the rest of the tournament. So it's going to be really, really interesting coming Saturday night to see how we play.
Ravi Moss, he's a former Kentucky Wildcat, actually started as a walk-on, spent 4 years there, all academic, and now is a radio talk show host in Lexington. Would it surprise you if John Calipari left after this season?
Yes. I mean, this is the best job in basketball. And I know the expectations are high, but the way Cal navigates it and manages it, he's the coach for this position. It doesn't get much better than what he does, what he brings. And as far as getting recruits, he's made his job so easy by doing things like the NBA Combine at the beginning of this season where, you know, he brings the guys in and says, listen, you guys are going to get drafted. Just listen to me and play for me. Play for each other, play as a team, and you guys will still get drafted and go make millions of dollars after that. I mean, that's what every kid wants to hear. And with the rules the way they are in place, you have to go to college for at least a year, and what better place would you go to come here? So as far as recruiting, he's got it made. He gets the recruits that he wants, and, you know, he wants the best players, and the best players want to come here and play for Kentucky. So in that regard, he's got it made. If he's in Lexington and they go 40-0 and he lives here, he won't have a worry for the rest of his life. I mean, he's going to be legendary. These guys are on legendary status already. Heck, it'll be Cal's court. It might be playing in Rupp Arena, but it'll be Cal's court if they go 40-0 and he finishes out here.
But does he have an NBA itch that he feels like he needs to scratch?
The only way that I think it would be feasible is if he's going to coach the best player in the NBA and the best player in the world, and that's LeBron James.
Yeah.
Other than that, it doesn't make sense. Why would you leave Kentucky to go to Minnesota or to Orlando where you have to rebuild? You got to, try to build a franchise around. No. If he leaves and goes anywhere, it would be, I would say the only way you do it is to go coach the best player on the planet right now, and that's LeBron James. So if Cleveland comes calling and offers him $10 million, maybe. But other than that, I just don't see why. It doesn't make sense why he would leave the University of Kentucky.
Ravi, I got to ask you a question. Of all those big guys on that team, okay, Lee at 6'9", Towns 6'11", Stein 7 feet, Dakota Johnson 7 feet. Who, in your opinion, is the best of the four?
The best of the four in college or the best of the four in the future?
All right, let's start in college and then future.
Okay. In college, I think Willie Cauley-Stein is probably the best of our bigs just because of his athletic ability and what he can do on the perimeter as far as guarding smaller guards. He doesn't have the best offensive set, but in college we know that you don't have to have the best offensive set. But the intangibles that he brings to the game as far as hustling, being able to switch out on those guards like that, getting back and blocking shots, and the way he runs the court to put pressure on the other bigs, I think he's our most valuable big. Going forward, it's probably Karl Anthony Towns. It will be the best pro, probably. He's got the nicest skill set. He's probably got the most upside. And then, Marcus Lee is great just for the energy that he brings. As many balls he gets his hands on, deflecting basketballs, hustle plays, getting rebounds. If you're 6'10" and you're hustling like a 6'2" guard, that's pretty impressive, and that's going to work in college. So, Dakari's more of a bruiser. He's probably, of the four, he's probably in the last place of the four, but he's starting to finish around the basket, so he can move up to number 3 spot if he continues to finish around the basket. But, we've got 4 guys right there that would start and play 35 minutes on any other team, and they're splitting time here. So that's just a luxury that Cal has. So we're really splitting hairs here. We've got 4 unbelievably talented, gifted guys that play for the University of Kentucky that are over 6'10".
Would you have liked to have played for Calipari?
Oh, man, I tell you what, it would have been a lot of fun. I would have never got on the court. I didn't have enough games. I would have been on the team, but I would have been waving the towels on the end of the bench. I would have loved to play for him, though, man. He just, he lets the kids play, and with the exception of Marcus Lee. He's got a short leash with Marcus Lee, but he lets the guys go out and play basketball and encourages them to shoot and to play hard and to have fun. And what he's done for this program is just perfect. And people say he can't coach and X's and O's, and he may not be the best X's and O's guy, but the guy can coach. He gets it done. And his team is 37-0 right now and has a great chance to win a national championship. So, yeah, I would have loved to play for him.
Can't thank you enough, Ravi. Great job. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Oh, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
That does it for hour number 2 of a 3-hour edition of the opening kickoff. 1 hour left in the weekend. It is here, at least for Mark Hyman, Lee Shervanian.